This house right behind us is the house of the president of city council, Lisa Bender. She did a big old song and dance at Powderhorn, saying that she's going to defund the police, and then there was no Q&A. So I thought, what better situation than to have people that know city council better than city council, and to have two people that are more knowledgeable than it to sit and have a forum real quick.
Now, one of the problems that I have with Lisa, aside from her failure to focus on Black lives, she can't say she didn't know. She's been elected since 2013. In the midst of that, Danielle, your brother was killed. We had an 18-day occupation in front of the 4th precinct. She came out there one of those days just so she could tweet about what was going on, but she didn't do a damn thing in terms of changing policy, right? So we're fed up with that kind of stuff. So again, they're going to Powderhorn Park saying these things, but it's just lip service to gain national headlines and to look like they're doing something. So the legislature did not ban chokeholds. They left a caveat in the law that still allows for chokeholds if police officers feel that they're in imminent danger or someone else is in danger. So they might, right? That's why we have to pay attention, and we've gotten on the media about them calling this sweeping legislation. It is not sweeping legislation. This is the bare minimum of what they could have done, and other states have passed even more progressive laws than the place where George Floyd was killed, which is completely unacceptable. So again, you're showing us that our lives don't matter, because we didn't have our asses out at Powderhorn Park. They wasn't talking to us. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't come to Black churches. They didn't come to the Black community. They didn't even hold no damn Zoom calls to talk to us and see what the hell that we wanted. They didn't talk to a single young Black man, but they're trying to sell us some shit because they know that white people will jump on a bandwagon over some buzzwords. Equity, diversity, defund, abolish, cheerlead, cheerlead, cheerlead. That's not what the fuck we're doing today. We want the truth. We want you to exercise due diligence. We want our community to have what we need, because we're the ones suffering while you got a 6-figure job and some damn benefits. Period.
Well, the city council has failed absolutely when it comes to police accountability. They have had years and years to do something, and all they do is point fingers at why they can't do anything. If you go down to file a complaint with this body, you know, go down, tell your story, sign your name, the whole shot. That complaint has less than 1 chance in 200 of leading to any discipline of a police officer.
That is bullshit!
It's bullshit. We've had many people elected to the city council who have had a platform of police reform. And look what we've got. But every city in this country is run by the same people. It's the big developers, it's the downtown council, it's the Chamber of Commerce, it's the big banks, it's Target Corporation, whatever else it is. That is the basic problem here, and the city council works for them because they know they have to work for them.
Right.
And that is the power we have to fight, and that's the power that unfortunately the city council represents and will probably continue to represent until we make damn sure that we control the police, not the council or the mayor.
How do we go from the current police state to something more like what the SNCC developed, which is more of like policing ourselves?
Well, I think we have to, of course, get the resources to organize. We already saw glimpses of that when our community was under attack during the uprising. So I believe that it takes the resources to develop that infrastructure so that we don't put a worse situation in place. Because you really have to be self-disciplined to be having a firearm, walking around the community, given the levels of complexity with the conflict that goes on. We know we have gangs as well in our communities. These are real things. But I'd like to see some of those brothers put down their disputes and become street soldiers on behalf of the community. Right? It's going to take time, it's going to take energy, but it's worth it. But you can't, and we also need a plan for economic justice. Because how are we going to tell brothers, put down your gun, stop slinging, but they have no job and no way to feed their families? We're setting them up for disaster.
What are some things that we can do once it starts to get a little bit colder?
To start that, but we have to be multitaskers. We've never just marched and not dealt with policy, not gone and gone off on the governor, not gone and called up legislators, not gone to City Hall and demanded change with City Council. So it's all multiple pronged. Everybody just figures out, where do I fit in, and then you get in where you fit in and you keep going.
Which of their sources of power is most vulnerable, and how do we take it from them?
I think their political power and their political capital is the most vulnerable. Now y'all see how they captured all these national headlines after that shit show in Powderhorn Park. And they're like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then what did they just do today? They only sliced 1.1 million out of the police budget. But you're telling people you're gonna defund, right? Stop lying. So that's why we're trying to put the truth out here. So people understand they're trying to hoodwink and bamboozle you and get you to agree to something that none of us signed up for. We should be able to craft a plan as the people of what we want to see for our city and making sure that we're focused on protecting our most vulnerable residents.
We have to get an accountability mechanism for the police that's controlled by the people. A civilian review authority with actual power. The charter gives the mayor full power over the discipline of the police force. The charter, the mayor has always, for the last 100 years, delegated that authority to the police chief. He could delegate that authority to a civilian body. That doesn't even take a charter change.
So Mayor Fry can do that right now.
He could do that right now.
How do we educate ourselves on voting and who to vote for so that we don't end up with another Lisa?
Great question. It is difficult to run for office here and win. The honest reason is because white people control our electoral system and our electoral politics. But in Minneapolis, because we have ranked choice voting, there is an opportunity for people to run and to win. But you have to be willing to buck the system.
It's very, very hard to get somebody good elected, but you can put some pressure on them. I like to think that the incumbent who I ran against had to watch over his shoulder just a little bit. When you keep up the action between the elections.
And how do we have that accountability for outside the metro as well?
I think that we have to figure out who the allies are and who the people of color are in those areas. But the bottom line is pressure, right? It's through the pressure that all of this worldwide uprising has happened. We haven't been asleep all these years, when people thought we were crazy, when we were shutting stuff down, we out in the freezing cold. Now we see that the world is looking at Minneapolis, and they know now there's black people here.